I'm here at the American Muscle Car Museum for a very special Ford event. Behind me is one of the brand new Mustang GTD race cars, and I'm being joined by one of the drivers, Joey Hand of the Ford Multimatic Motorsports team. Joey, we're here a couple days away from the car's big debut at Daytona. What's going through your mind being involved with such kind of a momentous time for Mustang history? And then also break down some of the specs on how this car's set up.
Yeah, well, it's awesome. I mean, this is, we're just days away from the Daytona 24-hour, and we're here at the, like I said, the American Muscle Car Museum, and, it's cool to have this Mustang GT3 car here. We've done a lot of work on this car, man. I mean, this is crazy to think that I rolled this car out, this exact car, 1 year ago through the parking lot at Multimatic Motorsports in Mooresville, North Carolina, and from then we've been all over the world testing this car, from Sebring, Daytona, and all in Europe and all kinds of places. So we've done a lot of work. There's a lot of pride for me to be starting this program out. I sat in this car and they said, hey, where you kind of want the seat, kind of where do you want the steering wheel, things like that. And now to be heading into the first race this weekend, I think everybody knows, sports car racing knows that our first race is the biggest race of the year, which is kind of weird, but it's just like Daytona 500 for us. So it'll be quite a test. We've done a lot of testing, like I said, endurance testing, but it's a 24-hour race. So we spent a lot of time on that. My teammate Dirk and I, we've done a lot of work to make the car a race car to go the distance. But the time has come, and now we see what happens. But I'll tell you what, we're going to have a ton of Mustang fans following us around. It's going to be one of the biggest races in the 24-hour history as far as fans go. So I think, if nothing else, it's going to be a great show.
Now, you have some Ford experience in your racing career. You spent some time behind the wheel of a Ford GT race car. Any similarities or differences between these two vehicle platforms?
Well, there's definitely, there's a little bit of similarities. In fact, that we're racing them and we're trying to squeeze everything out of them, But when you look at what the Ford GT was, very minimal frontal area. The Mustang obviously is quite a bit bigger frontal area. But I think the biggest thing that stands out is, the Ford GT had that EcoBoost 6-cylinder. This has that 5.4-liter Coyote-based V8. And so far, what I've seen from people that hear this thing, they love it. It really sounds like America, right? There was one thing we got right on this car for sure. So far, it's got that Ford American look, sound, smell. It's hitting all the senses for everybody that I've seen so far. And so, it's a different beast for sure from the Ford GT, but it was engineered by the same group of people, right? Ford Performance, Ford technicians and engineers, and Multimatic. And so that's the cool part is, we're starting from the ground up on this thing basically, but we have a lot of the same people.
As you said, this is a very big anniversary year for Mustang, celebrating 60 years. Fans are going to have 12 months of celebration with all kinds of performance efforts, including a street version. How do you think fans are going to respond when they can go down to their showroom and buy a street legal race car?
Well, I think people are going to be super impressed by the Mustang GTD. I've been fortunate enough to do some test driving that thing, and it's awesome. I think what people have to understand is this car is built to a spec, to a rules package, right? And what Ford did with the GTD street car is they had no rules. So they did everything they wanted to do. The stuff that we can't do here because of rules, they did over there. Dampers, DRS, all this different stuff, more power, bigger brakes, you name it, more downforce, they did over there. And the fact that that's a street car is pretty wild. Like I said, I got to drive it, I know about it, I've done some test driving with it, and I think people are going to be super impressed. Again, I'm so excited for Ford and the Mustang brand because, again, when we did the Ford GT, when we won in 2016 at Le Mans, I know that nobody had a Ford GT at this time, like the cars we were racing. The cars hadn't made it out yet to the first customers, right? And as we were racing in 2017, 18, maybe we had 1,000 people in those first 2 years that actually had a Ford GT. This is a Mustang, right? It doesn't matter if you have a 1966, 64, 60, whatever you have a Mustang or 2024, and you're a fan. You can follow, you can say, hey, I got a Mustang, right? I sit on airplanes all the time, right? I travel all over the world. And when people say, you drive race cars? Yep. I drive a Ford. Oh man, what kind of Ford? A Mustang. Oh, my brother's got a Mustang. My dad's got a Mustang. My mom's got a Mustang. Whatever. And so I think what's so cool to me is we're going to drag along a ton of Mustang fans with us all over the world.